Hi guys, PGA Tour coach Randy Joyner here with this week's Champions Corner. Joe Highsmith won the Cognizant Classic this past weekend. The 24-year-old shot a weekend 2 rounds of 64 for a 19 under par total. It was kind of an anticlimactic finish, but Joe does a couple of things that I want to show you guys that can really help your golf game going into this 25 golf season. And I want to show you what those things are. We're out here on the 10th hole at Ballantyne Country Club. He did 2 things. He's got great posture, and I don't talk a lot about posture normally as a coach, but there's one thing I want to show you with that, and I want to talk to you about his follow-through, because Joe hits a lot of greens and he's extremely accurate, which is something that all of you can use. So let's take a look. We'll talk about what Joe did this weekend. All right, so I mentioned that Joe Highsmith did 2 things in his win at the Cognizant Classic this past weekend that can really help your golf game. His posture is incredibly good, and like I said, I don't talk about posture a whole lot, but it's something I want to give you that'll really help you keep the club on the correct path, which will make you more accurate, as Joe is. The second thing is his follow-through we'll talk about. Now, I'm sure if you watch the golf tournament, Joe's actually left-handed, so I'm going to show you what he looks like, and I'm going to flip it around. What Joe does with his posture is as he sets up, he's got, and I don't like for people to feel like they're very straight or robotic. I want you to be athletic. But what I want you to notice is if I drew a line down from my shoulders are outside of my toe line, my hips are outside of my heel line, so there's a counterbalance. Joe does a great job of that, really good at it, so when he sets up, it looks like he almost can't miss the shot. So he sets up. The other thing I want you to notice as I set up lefty for you is when Joe sets up, in this case, you can see my right arm. My left arm in this case is lower. That's something that's extremely important. Now I'm going to flip around to where most of you are right-handed. What most of you do with your posture is you've been taught to flex your knees, so your knees get under you too much. Well, now that gets your rear end under you, and now your hips are going to work into the ball. You come up through the ball. All kinds of bad things happen from there. What Joe does, again, he keeps his hips out, so his shoulders are outside of his toe line. His hips are behind his heel line. And then as I set up, you can see my left arm here as you look down the line from where the camera is. That's the first thing. The second thing is his follow through. As Joe strikes the ball, as we've talked about in past videos, he follows the ball with his eyes. And when he finishes, the shaft finishes very much horizontal. He's not a very vertical finisher. And what that does is it allows him to sequence his body and the club shaft. Keeps the club on a great path going through the shot, and hits very accurate iron shots as well as his tee shots. So we're going to hit a shot here. So I've got about 160 yards. And we're just going to try to follow it with our eyes and finish a little more rounded. I'm holding that finish. That's right at the flag. So if you'll work on those 2 things, work on your posture. Make sure your shoulders are outside of your toe line, your hips are outside of your heel line. It's a counterbalance. You'll look more athletic. And finish with that shaft a little more rounded. And if you're missing the ball to the right, that'll help. You'll be a lot more accurate, just like Joe Highsmith did in his win at the Cognizant Classic this past weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next Champions Corner.